Bom dia and welcome to day 2 of racing right here at Aquabike's Grand Prix of Portugal, brought to you by the UIM-ABP and F1 H2O Racing. Glorious Portimao has been so kind to us this weekend, starting with this pleasant Algarvian climate and calming sea breeze that we've been dealing with. We had a great day of qualifying yesterday, and we have got some fantastic first motos to look at this morning. We've got a big day ahead of us. You are watching the live action here on Friday and Saturday. On that pre-qualifying yesterday, I'll give you a bit of those updates, but on Saturday we are going to be this 10:45 start with ski ladies, and then the men's ski division, and then junior ski, and then we're going to go into free practice for the runabouts, and then we'll bring that live action to you this afternoon. So again, on the morning's agenda, we're going to be watching some women racing, and the men's in the ski division, and then the juniors. And right now, what you have on the screen is the first class that we're getting ready for in Moto number 1, and that is Women's GP1. And this is the parade lap where we get the opportunity to honor the different countries from around the world. And when we take a look down at these different countries, New Zealand, France, Sweden, of course, Estonia, Great Britain, Portugal, Monaco, over 28 countries represented this weekend and 81 riders. You can see Joana Graça proudly carrying the Portugal flag, our local flag, for beautiful Portimao. And speaking of Portimao, let's take a look at this incredible city. Now, you know, this is the wonder of Portugal's Algarve region. It's a city surrounded by a myriad of emerald green beaches, deep-cut cliffs, and hidden story caves. Portimao is a sporting city with beach soccer, volleyball, attracting people from all over, and it has really turned into a tourist destination. History intermingles with the modern in the vibrant, pastel-colored city center. There's something for everyone here. First-class cafes and restaurants, shopping, world-famous nightclubs providing entertainment during the day and the night. Portimao's thriving economy relies on tourism and maritime endeavors such as fish salination, open water fishing, conservation, canning, and shipbuilding. Despite being in the new century, Portimao shows us echoes of maritime allure and past. And it also shows us a depth that can be found nowhere else. Put all this together and you get an urbanized and quintessentially Portuguese escape right here in Portimao. Welcome back to the race site here. We are in a river with a very narrow channel dealing with changing current, very fast tides, and a lot of great racing. And you're watching the women's class as we put away those flags and we get these guys ready for race number 1. And we'll be putting up this entry list so I can tell you about these racers coming up next. And on our entry list in Women GP, it's Emanelli Ortendahl, Yasmini Prouse, Sophie Borgstrom, Jessica Siobhan, Donna Bergstrom. Of course, Virginia Morale is out. Kylie Elmer's representing for New Zealand. Janina, a brand new racer for us this year for the whole tour. Katrine Nilby, Joana Graça, and Alina Karnim, who's actually substituting this next couple of races for Krista Uzar, your defending world champion, who unfortunately will not be able to be out on the line today after a tough break in training. And tough break, literally, actually. She broke her ankle. So the good news is we've had her back here hanging out with us anyway, so it's great to have her here as part of the family, but unfortunately she will not be part of the lineup today. Her riding buddy, Alina Karnim, will be substituting in for her. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. You were watching the action right here for the Grand Prix of Portugal in Portimao. bit of a recap from yesterday in the qualifying as we get these girls back to the line. It was a crazy day yesterday. Taking a look at some of the results, Yasmin Ipraus from Estonia bolted out of the qualifying with the fastest time, that 1:40.97, and she held that for several laps before Eminelli Ortendahl came back in and stole the best lap time with a 1:40.67, but you can see less than 3/100ths of a second separating these two riders. Now we are going to be having a rolling start, and you will see that they are positioning the riders on the far left-hand side of the track. They will be coming in from the left to the right, so the start will be a right-hand turn for the riders. And getting the opportunity to see them just as they get set up and staging. Now, the way the grid is broken down, and you're going to see this in just a second, you will have the green buoy, and your top 5 riders, top 5 qualifiers yesterday for time will get the opportunity to go to that green. And those riders are going to be Eminelli Ortendahl on the pole, Yasmin Ipraus second, Sophie Borgstrom in third, Jessica Chavon in fourth, and then Donna Bergstrom in fifth. Now, on the yellow buoy, as they're staging, on the yellow buoy, we've got 6 through 15. And we have 14 riders on the line, so that second group will be going straight to the yellow buoy. And that's going to start with Estelle Perret on that pole position. She just barely made it out, and the riders are off. And in that first group, Yasmin Ipraus jumps out into the lead. And already this young lady from Estonia once again putting some pressure on. As they came into that second group, it was Eminelli Ortendahl that snuck back around her, and she is in the lead. Working on that split section, you can see these guys coming through, and as they merge on the front, you'll get a chance to watch who's going to end up with the overall hole shot. Oh, okay, so Yasmin Ipraus actually went down in that split section, and Eminelli Ortendahl going to grab the hole shot. And it is Donna Bergstrom in second, Yasmin after a quick recovery in third, Sophie Borgstrom in fourth, Estelle Perret in fifth, Jessica Chavon in sixth, Katrine Nilby in seventh place. And just taking a look out here at Donna Bergstrom on that 23 boat, who had a great run last week at Penafiel, Portugal with a second overall. And you've got the opportunity to watch your vice champion, that's Eminelli Ortendahl, who had plans to come out here for this tour and fire up again on the Pro Force, but in a decision after a couple of weeks, she's moved over to the Kawasaki as they are still working on some tuning for the Pro Force. And Donna Bergstrom up in that top 3. So cool to see her doing so well. Man, what fun to hang out in the pits with those guys yesterday. Sophie Bergstrom with one of her best finishes in the qualifying, snuck around her sister for the fastest time, coming in third. And it was so cute to watch her last night as she was waiting for the results to be posted officially. Here's your shot to get a chance to look at these guys coming out of that split section. Very technical track. This is a tight track with some really tricky turns, but a lot of opportunity for passing. And as Eminelli comes across the start line on lap 1, we'll have a time for her. 2:42.42 is Eminelli's time, and right on her heels, Donna Bergstrom with a 2:46.90, and Håkan has got to be pretty excited with that. Yasmin Ipraus in third after the going down in the split section. She had a 2:54.61. Sophie in fourth with a 2:59.57. Estelle Perret with a 3:03.65. You can see Donna Bergstrom, as these guys go through 2 series of dog legs. They've got a hard dog leg to the right, and then they come back to that left, and they have a not necessarily huge backstretch that they deal with, and you can see they're going to be coming up on a red and white buoy, and that indicates that they go into that split section, and you can see Donna Bergstrom just hit that. Now she's going to make a choice here, inside or outside. And you can see the inside greens just setting up, and she's going to follow Eminelli Ortendahl through that inside split. Eminelli Ortendahl, vice champion last year to a young lady out of Latvia, that's Krista Uzar, who took the podium for the first time for Latvia. But I have to say, when you take a look at the overall stats for Eminelli Ortendahl, they are incredibly impressive. In her career, she has had over 15 podiums and 7 Grand Prix wins. And she is setting up for a nice win this weekend as well. Again, she's aboard that Kawasaki with her signature tennis ball helmet. Her best finish out of the 7 motos last year was Gallipoli with a 2nd place. And if you look back on that last year, she actually had quite a bit of challenges. She was still debating between working the Pro Force last year and switching over to the Kawasaki, as a lot of riders were. That Kawasaki came out late 2017, and it certainly changed the face of racing with that big 1500 going into boat stock. And the fact that that Kawasaki is actually a heavier boat and a longer boat, and not just a little heavier, it's about 200 pounds heavier. Great shot of Estelle Perret. Speaking of new boats, that is a brand new Kawasaki for Estelle as well. Her and her dad here this weekend joining us, and going to be doing the whole tour. And Estelle had a chance to catch up with her. She was saying she's only had a less than 12 hours on that boat, so not very much time to get warmed up for it, but really looking strong. And this is a young lady that loves to run in rough water. Estelle Perret is an incredible athlete. And you can see that even in lap number 2, these guys are already starting to deal with some pretty big waves in that back stretch. 1:46.08 lap time for Eminelli Ortendahl. Donna Bergstrom with a 1:50.36. Your shot of the split section as they come out, and then you see the merge buoy that has Aquabike on it. Once they move out of that split section, they've got to come onto the chosen side for that merge buoy, or they will be docked. That's one of the few places on the track you're automatically docked a lap. And there's Estelle Perret on boat number 96. I'm sure her brothers are tuning in, cheering her on this weekend. Shout out to Oliver Lizeth, who just joined, and also Ben Scharf joining us on the live stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today on aquabike.net. You're watching Women's Ski. We are working our way through the laps on that. We've got 7 seconds left, or excuse me, 7 minutes left on the clock. And there is the young lady from Monaco on boat number 66, and that is Lisa Battaglia. Kassan. Got a brand new paint job. Nice wrap this year for Lisa Battaglia. In 2018, her best finish was a 10th. She Got a 10th overall. Best finish was Gallipoli, actually got an 8th. A little bit slower than 2017, where she ended up 8th overall. Her best in Sharjah, just one away from a podium finish. She has 7 American titles. And interestingly, a side note for her, she's a student in Master of Philosophy. She has a Bachelor in Sport and Exercise. She's actually a student representative on the Montague National Education Committee as well. Eminelli Ortendahl in lap traffic, and we get our first chance to take a look at the young lady from the UK, Molly Fern. Joining us for the first time last year, 2018, her rookie year. Molly Fern's currently 7th. She has a 1:53.81 for her time. Eminelli Ortendahl still leading, Donna Bergstrom 2nd, Yasmin E. Prouse in 3rd, and the fastest lap time thus far would be Eminelli Ortendahl with a 1:46.08. And Sophie Bergstrom, who finished 3rd in qualifying yesterday, she's up in 4th with a 1:53.88. She is really coming on. It was really fun to watch her yesterday after the qualifying. And Eminelli and Jana and Sophie incredibly close. These guys hang out and train together. And yesterday after the qualifying, Eminelli was ripping Jana pretty hard for sneaking that top 3 qualifier away from Donna Bergstrom. So much fun to watch these two. Eminelli leading, Jana 2nd, Yasmin Prouse still 3rd, and again, fastest lap time for Eminelli Ortendahl, 1:46.08, Donna Bergstrom with a 1:50.36. And that is Estelle Perret in 5th. 1:53.52, her fastest time. And it looks like Katrine Nilby, you had some tough breaks yesterday as well in qualifying, actually pulled over, and that might have been a penalty. She thought might have gotten a penalty on one of the turns, or they could have pulled her in for that. That could be for not holding your line or premature acceleration on that start. And instead of redoing the start, what they'll do is they will give them a time penalty. Jessica Chavon yesterday with a great finish, ended up in 4th fastest qualifying time, and that is Donna Bergstrom you are looking at. Donna Bergstrom from Sweden. She had a pretty big injury she had to come back from last year. Great to see her back out on this track and doing so well. I had quite a few people asking me yesterday the type of boats out here. For the most part, a lot of the riders have moved over to some configuration of that Yamaha, or excuse me, that Kawasaki 1500. A lot of the riders, including Kylie Elmer's, using that at least as a hull, and then different configurations underneath the hood. Donna Bergstrom last year, her best finish was in Sharjah with a 4th place. She got second last weekend at the European Championship in Penafiel. Rides for Team Cav Racing. Going to be 22 years old this year. She actually was riding a Hyderspace for a couple years. She too switched over to that Kawasaki Yasmini Kraus in that inside split. And she is trying to get around Donna Bergstrom. Lap traffic starting to have an impact on these riders. "14 minutes into this. Will be a 15-minute moto plus 1 lap. Eminelli, after that first lap time of a 1:46.08, her current lap, she's up to a 1:50, just a little bit slower with these extra waves out here after they've counted it as these laps. She's on lap number 7. Donna Bergstrom working that inside very well. White flag is out for Eminelli Ortendahl. Donna Bergstrom getting hung up in some traffic, and this might be an opportunity for Yasmin to get around her. Bergstrom dropped down just slightly on that front stretch. Yasmin unfortunately found the exact same hole. Not going to afford her the opportunity to get around her, but that was close coming into that front stretch section for those two riders. We're on the last lap, and both of those riders are working behind lap traffic. Question's going to be now, how quickly can Donna Bergstrom get around? Because if she doesn't make the move fairly quickly on that boat number 25, she is going to allow Yasmin Epraus to gain up on her. Donna Bergstrom just squeezed through as they hit that midsection on the track before they come into a steep dogleg turn, and that's going to move them back towards the far end of this channel. And you can see Eminelli Ortendahl, but it is the battle between second and third on this final lap. 25 and 64 trying to get around this lap traffic, and battle for second. Donna Bergstrom still in it. Yasmin Epraus from Estonia in third. As they make the final couple of turns, that is Eminelli Ortendahl after a 17-minute moto who hits the checkered flag. Congratulations to this young lady. Came in second last year after some tough breaks, but what an amazing talent. Taking the win in moto number 1, Eminelli Ortendahl. Donna Bergstrom holding off Yasmin Epraus on those final couple of turns. She actually managed to open the gap out of that split section. Donna Bergstrom holding on to this for second place. Yasmin Epraus going to have third. Emanuele Ortendahl, that 1:46.08. 1:50.36 was Jana's fast time. And a 1:49.40 for Yasmin. And it's going to be Sophie Bergstrom. The Swedish sisters at it again. She came in with a 1:53.88, and she'll end up fourth. And it's got Estelle Perret rounding out your top five. And you can see Sophie over there giving high fives and handshakes to Emanuele Ortendahl. So again, it was a 15-minute moto with a extra lap, putting their total time today at 17:28 for moto number one. You've been watching the Ski Ladies GP1. We will be right back with the GP Ski Men coming at you next. And we've got a lot going on in that one. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Aquabike World Championship Grand Prix of Portugal. We just got through watching the lady skis. We're going to be bringing out the gentlemen next. What a day we had yesterday. A battle once again. Estonia made it to the map with Martin Manny in an incredible charge. He fired off on lap number one with a 1:37.59 for a fast time, edging out Kevon Redder yesterday in qualifying by 1/100th of a second. It was a 1:37.59 by a 1:37.60. So incredible racing yesterday, and that happened on the very last lap. And we'll be coming up here with your entry list in just one moment. Gentlemen that qualified on that last lap, taking over the lead and getting the pole position, Kevon Redder, followed by Martin Manny, Stian Schvetline, Lucas Bernard, Dan Anderson for your top five on that grid. Pole position on the second group is going to be Zabo, Barnabas, Marcus Lutzekert, and Axel Courtois will be going all the way up to 15 on that. Gabor also making in that second group. Ulrich Bernsen, after losing a intake grate yesterday, still made it into second. And two entries that were not on the line yesterday that we will be seeing. Rafael Morin managed to make it today. Great to have him back. And Stephen Doliak also going to be on the lineup. This is going to be a great race in Men's Ski GP. And you are watching the Parade of Nations for the men's class. Kevon, of course, carrying the flag for Australia. Martin Manny, Estonia, Norway, Czech Republic, Hungary, France, Denmark, Croatia, Italy, the UAE, Spain, Morocco, all represented out on the course today. 20 riders in our lineup. Bunch of shout outs as we get ready into the Men's Ski GP. I love Benjamin Francois' comment. Can you please put the camera on Håkon? That was on the women's class. Because they knew Håkon was going to be going crazy with that finish for Jana. Also, a big shout out to Ken Sims. And I'm here with a very special guest as we get ready to do lap 1 for our parade lap. And as we get ready for Eminelli Ortendal, again, we are just about to fire off with Men's Ski GP. Girl, great start. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. This was so much fun, and it was a calm and nice moto. It was getting more and more choppy throughout the race, but I think we all handled it well. So, yeah, this was a good one.
I have to say, is it true, because it sure feels like it is, that you have great energy this year and camaraderie with this entire group of racers?
Oh yeah, that's right. It's amazing, like the friends that we are not on the track but off the track, because on the water it's still racing like full throttle and battles, but you know, to just bring it up on land and just be good friends and talk about the race, it's so nice. It's a calm, like I can be so more, I can be happy, you know, on and off the water, and that just feels great.
Now, I know that you're still getting used to that ski, but that's a ski that you did very well with last year in the U.S., so it's good to see you really starting to get comfortable with it here. Do you like this track?
Yeah, this track is actually nice. It's kind of a cruise, you know. It's not so many tight sections. The split is the most technical one, and you know, a lot of sweeping turns, and I like that, especially on this ski. It's really nice to sweep around with.
Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you what, it was great watching you. I love the battle between you and Yasmini Prouse on the start.
Yeah, that was intense.
That was pretty intense. Yeah, it looked like she went down a little bit in that split section, but man, I got to say, I was so impressed with her quick recovery. Great job by all of you, and of course, your buddy right behind you in second.
Oh yeah, she was doing great, Jana. It's so nice to see all the Swedes doing so good.
Awesome. Emma, it's always fun to talk with you. I'll let you go back and get some rest and get ready for Moto 2.
Thank you, Don.
You bet. All right, we're back on the water. I'm Don Dawson. You're watching Aquabike.net. This is the Grand Prix of Portugal. And already this morning has given us just a tempting snack of what it's going to be like this weekend. We've got 3 motos for a couple of these classes. We've got 2 motos for runabouts. That's why we are going to be doing a Moto 1 this afternoon at 3 o'clock for Runabout GP1. That's going to be your first opportunity to see these guys on the line. And then we're also going to have freestyle this afternoon. That too is going to fire off at 3 o'clock. This morning's agenda, we're looking at the ski ladies, which we just watched, now the men's ski, and then we're going to be having GP3, or the junior classes, their very first moto will be following this one, and then we will take a quick break and come back at 3. So be sure to set your watches for that. Meanwhile, I would say put your tray tables in the upright and lock position, because it's going to get a bit rowdy with 20 of the top riders from around the world lining up, which will probably explode as far as the start. This is going to be a pretty quick off-the-line fire. You've got to keep your eye on boat number 90. That is Kevon Redder, your defending world champion. He's actually a 5-time world champion, 6-time European champion. He has 4 U.S. titles, 2 King's Cup titles, 2 UIM World Championships, and he rounded that out with a incredible series of finishes last year on a brand new boat with a brand new crew, Victory Team. And one of his very best friends, actually a part of that team, is the team manager, and that's Chris Wilkinson, and it was been really fun to catch up with these guys. And he has got some incredible company out there, however. Rafael Morin, who exploded on the scene last year, 2018, ended up with a 2nd overall, 3 podiums, 1 win out of 7 motos, and that win, by the way, was in Gallipoli. He has 5 Aquabike podiums total from 2015 to 2018, and he rides for Team Pastorello. And for those of you maybe not familiar with that, that is John Bruno Pastorello, who is an incredibly famous 12-time endurance champion, and that is the team that Rafael actually works with. And they are already lining them up to take them out of the start. And they are on. Kevon Redder with a great run. As they start making their way towards that split section, they're going to go straight to the start buoys. And then they do the double yellow and a double red, and then they have to get into the split section. They have the opportunity to pick which one, and it's going to be Kevon Redder on the green buoys or the inside split. Axel Courtois choosing to go to the outside. Kevon Redder already starting to open up the distance on that victory boat. He's going to work for this whole shot, and he's got it as they drop into the front stretch. Dan Anderson, who looked great, 5th in qualifying yesterday on the time, coming in 2nd. And Zabo in 3rd, Lucas Benar in 4th. That's Marcus Lutzekert in 5th. Axel Courtois in 6th, and Martin Manny, who finished 2nd yesterday in qualifying, in 7th, and it looks like boat number 51 already having to deal with a tow hook. Tough break for Mads Hansen. Now you see that double buoy. That indicates to these guys that they are coming up on the final part of the backstretch. You'll see the second double buoy. And that's where they'll pretty much go right back into the repeat. So there's your double, the red and the white. So they're going to go to a double turn, which is a right-hand turn, and then drop right back into a double left. And at that point, they are in front of the split section once again. You can see Martin Manny, gentleman who had the fastest time for every lap until the final lap yesterday. Literally 0.01 seconds between him and Kevon Redder until the final lap, when Kevon pulled off a 1:37.57. That 30 seconds was enough to push him into the pole position and gave him a perfect opportunity to drop into a whole shot for today. .2807 is the first lap time for Kevon Redder. Dan Anderson with a 2:36.19. That's got to be the best start I've seen Dan Anderson do in a moto. Great work for this gentleman out of 2:43.99 for Gabor Szabo, 3rd, and Lucas Benar 2:46.27. Marcus Lutzekert with a 2:50.89. That's your top 5. Axel Courtois with a 2:52.92, and Martin Manny at 2:55.80. That's the top 7. Salman Alawadi in 8th. Anders Keller in 9th. And you've got Barnabas with a 3:01. And we've got Rafael Morin after a tough deal, not being able to get out on that track yesterday in practice. Both him and Steven Daliak had 0 opportunity to take a look at that, and yet when you look out on the board, these guys are starting to hopefully make a move. But Steven Daliak and Rafael Morin basically coming into this first moto not having any clue what this track is like, so they're going to be moving up through the pack. We'll keep our eyes on both of them. Meanwhile, Redder's second lap, 1:40.26. And we are 4 minutes, 19 seconds into this. That's your shot of the double turn as Lucas Bernard are pushing some pressure on Gabor Szabo. And you can see how the waves are kicking up. Another rider down on that far side of the wall. Gabor Szabo on boat number 19. His best finish last year was a 7th in Sharjah. Had a ton of promise. 2017, he had a 4th overall also in Sharjah. He lives in Győr, Hungary. His profession, a sports manager during the week. Man, I tell you, you can see just at the top of that screen, Lucas Bernard keeping the pressure on him. Question's going to be, is Bernard going to follow him through that split, or is he going to go to the other side? And he does. So technically we would call those green buoys the inside split, but from the camera angle, so we're actually situated to the right of those splits. So it's going to look like that blues are actually going to be our inside split, and Lucas Bernard takes it. Let's see, coming out of that merge buoy, if he's able to gain a little time on him. Not a ton. Not bad, not a ton. All right, now you see that double yellow. There are 2 sets of those. So you've got the double yellows and the double reds. That double red is where they drop down into the front stretch. And you can see Lucas Bernard going wide, trying to gain a little momentum on Gabor Szabo. That is your battle for 3rd place. Meanwhile, Dan Anderson with some great times. His fastest lap time thus far, a 1:45.08, and he is in 2nd place. Oh, Bernard starting to gain on Szabo on the right-hand side of the track. Bernard putting a ton of pressure on him. Meanwhile, we've got more pressure with Martin Manny trying to get around Axel Courtois. Manny on boat number 53. Man, that's a bright yellow boat. Brand new paint job from Martin Manny, and one of the fastest times he has done at the UIM was yesterday in Q2. Started out racing as a junior rider, and he's traveled the globe doing that. Had some great finishes last year. He tied Michael Pere for 5th place last year. His best finish was in Sharjah with an 8th overall. Lives in Saku, Estonia. 18 years fast, just graduated high school last year. Another shot of Gabor Szabo and Bernard, who chooses to follow him through that inside split. Again, the 2 double turns, or chicane turn, and then you can see just how rough it is on that front stretch. And Ulrich Bernsen took a deep dive off of that yesterday in qualifying. Lost his intake brake. Still managed to qualify in the top 10 despite the high-speed dismount. And gonna have to ride his backup boat for today. Whistles out for boat number 79, and that is Attila Derry having to catch a tow ride. Meanwhile, this is Gabor Szabo, and they are working the back section. That is just a portion of the backstretch that you're seeing. Take the 2-tone buoy, the red and white buoy, and then they start making their way into this double-double for the splits. It's a great back view, actually. They're on the other side of the river, giving you that camera shot. Axel Courtois in 5th on boat number 95. Axel's best time thus far, 1:50.77. Gentleman out of France. His best finish last year was in 9th place. And that happened in Sharjah on our final stop. Kevon Redder starting to pull away, 25 seconds between him and the rest of the pack at the moment as we watch Martin Manny continuing the charge. And you can see Axel Courtois about 4 boats away from him. Manny continuing to keep this pressure on the gentleman out of France. Love watching Manny's riding style. Very, very tall time. Just as soon as I started talking about that, he jumped up and did a little bit of a stretch on that back. You'll notice that he didn't do much of it, but there's just not a whole lot of opportunity here to get any relief all that back. You saw Kevon Redder just dip in the water slightly, not going to have any impact on his position, still leading with a comfortable 25 seconds, 1:40.26, his fastest lap time. Kevon Redder, what an amazing year. He's got a Kawasaki boat that he is riding, but after that, a lot of work has gone on underneath the hood between him and Chris Wilkinson. And a huge acknowledgement to the team that picked him up and has started working with him this year. Or excuse me, actually, it was last year he started with these guys. That was the Victory team, and hoorays been hoorays. And you can see Kevon Redder at the top of your screen. Got into lap traffic on lap number 3. And right now, just getting the job done. We've got 12 and a half minutes into this first moto. Boat number 87, Lucas Spinar. Did great in Penafiel last weekend. In the second pole position, he ended up with 4th place. And he was in the 1:40.77 for his time yesterday. Right now, his fastest lap time at 1:49.83. Grant Anderson, Mr. Anderson in the house. Got a great start, worked the blue buoys on the split section, putting him right into that second place, and he's just comfortably rolling. 1:45.08 his fastest time. He's working 6 laps. Just came off of that front stretch, and then you've got just 2 jig turns, quick little jig turns. They're technical. Then they have to pick up that triple red turn. You just saw him on the final portion of that. And then they have a serpentine. And then they pick up 2 more yellow buoys, and then they have to go straight back towards the far wall, and that's the hunt that you saw Dan Anderson on. Kevon Redder in the split section. Splits indicated by the green and the blue buoys. On the farthest, it's almost the farthest point of the left-hand side of this track. Oh, he spun out just a little bit. That's the first mistake I've seen Kevon Redder make in Moto 1. bobbled again, working this lap traffic, but this is one of the trickier sections. I've been talking about the wall and how narrow this is, particularly as they work their way up in these laps. What's happening is these waves are coming right back into the track. They're mirroring back into the track, and you're seeing the impact of that. Kevin went down slightly. No impact on his lead. He's on lap number 8, 1:40.26, still his fastest time. We're at 14 minutes, so next time he comes through, he will be getting a white flag for the gentleman from the victory team, Kevon Redder. Lucas Benar still hunting. Gabor Szabo. On that last lap, Gabor had a 1:50.14. Lucas Benar with a 1:49.83, so he is gaining some momentum and some time on the gentleman from Hungary, boat 19. Lucas Benar on 87 as they come out of that split. They also are having to deal with some lap traffic. And the rider that was ahead of Gabor went down just slightly and slowed up. Oh, lucky break for Gabor Szabo. The rider just moved out of the way and then came back into the track just as Lucas Benar was trying to come through, and that is going to hold him up just a smidge. We're at 16:11 on our total time. As Gabor Szabo has got to be thinking, when am I going to get a white flag, as he continues to hold off Lucas Benar. Daliak, who started in 20th today, has moved up into 10th place. That's boat number 81 that has been on the move. Rafael Morin not had such good luck. His fastest time was a 1:48.71, but Morin only in 17th at the moment. So Daliak has broke into that top 10. His fastest time, a 1:50.81 for boat number 81. Gentleman that lives out of the UAE, originally from France. He's got a little boy now, 18 months old. And congratulations to, oh no, we just had a rider off. Sorry, I got a little excited there. Oh, Q. Speak of the devil, that was actually Rafael Morin that had to retire from the field. So something going on with that boat, but again, they haven't had much time to do any tuning on it. Meanwhile, white flag comes up for Kevon Redder. Kevin on this front stretch, and checkered flag for Kevon Redder as he takes the win. Dan Anderson, who had a fantastic start in Moto 1. That's the boat 88 you're watching. About 20 seconds back. He is just finalizing a couple of turns here as he prepares to take one of his best finishes in Moto 1 on the GP of Portugal. This is the Aquabike World Championship Tour kickoff. Dan Anderson looks amazing. Boat 88 had a bit of trouble last week in Pinnafield, so this has got to feel good, and you can see the reaction for Dan Anderson, the rider from Norway. His best time, a 1:45.08, and he cinched that second place on lap 10. Gabor holds off Lucas Bernard for third. Axel Courtois rounding out your top 5. Martin Manny-Sig. All right, as they finish up with the final rider, Salman Alawadi for 7th, Anders Keller 8th, Barnabas Zabo for 9th, and Siva Daliak rounding out your top 10. This was Moto 1 in men's GP. We'll be right back after this short break. World Championship Grand Prix of Portugal. We're going to be bringing you some great action coming up next for the juniors. Our first opportunity to get a chance to watch the juniors on our very first tour stop in gorgeous Portimao, and our parade has started. Our riders will be representing Estonia, the UAE, Portugal, Denmark, and man, a lot of local products here in the micro missiles. A lot of the riders at Penafiel last week in Portugal. One of the cool side notes that you guys will enjoy is that these riders are actually going to be doing the same track as the men's GP1, and the rider lineup will be coming at you momentarily. You'll get an opportunity to meet today's junior GP 3.2 riders. So again, the GP 3.2, that is actually going to be the 10 and 12 riders. And again, we'll have that entry list up for you shortly. And there it is, our 10 to 12 riders. Andrew Hubert Laurie, along with Rashid Tayer. Andrew with a great finish yesterday, fastest qualifying time, will be on the pole. Manuel Lite, Frederick Franson, and Martin Brito, along with Martin Marquez, will be our riders today for the 10 to 12 class. And I'm up here with a gentleman that just took the win in Moto 1, Kevon Redder. Tell me about the track.
Yeah, the track is really tough, so, you know, it's like a big washing machine in there, so you get waves from everywhere, so you have to be really cautious not to, you know, lose your focus and, you know, get a wave and fall off the ski. So, no, it's been a really good moto.
You looked great. I could tell the area that I think a lot of the riders are dealing with is right in front of this wall, that double-double. Not ordering a hamburger, but boy, that has been a bit of a mess. I've noticed that you bobbled slightly on it, great recovery, but mostly it was with the traffic. Is that what you're referencing as far as the washing machine, or is it everywhere?
No, it's especially at the front straight is really tough. So you never know what's expecting you on the other side when you turn. But yeah, all across the track there's some tough spots, and yeah, it's really brutal.
Seems like that boat's really working well for you, though.
Yeah, good thing is team manager said I can push all the time, all the race long, because we've done enough testing in the winter to know there's no reliability issues. So that's what I did. I got in my zone and went for it, and it felt really good, better than qualifying yesterday. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah, I could tell this team really working out well for you, and training this year seems the best I've ever seen. You look great out on the boat. How are you liking this boat and that setup?
Yeah, the boat really works for me. It really suits me and my style of riding. So, letting it hang out and just putting it where I want it is really good. And, it's a quite physical way of riding, but I really enjoy it. And I think it speaks for my style. And, yeah, it's just putting a smile on my face when I get to ride something so cool.
Oh, I bet. And now you get to take a quick break and watch one of your riders coming up, not in this moto, but the one right after that, Diogo Barbosa. Can't wait to see.
Yeah, correct. I'm really excited about him, and also Daniel doing a great job finishing second. In the Kevon racing team, so I'm super stoked about that too. Yeah, so no, it's really good.
Yeah, you can certainly see that as well. And the reaction when Anderson came across that checker flag spoke volumes, didn't it? Really cool. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. You were busy, but
I glanced back. No, it was really good. So
awesome. All right.
Looking forward for some more racing.
Thank you. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Kevon Redder, sir. Go get some rest. We'll be right back. Oh, so cool to have opportunity to catch up with one of the world's winningest riders in his career, Kevon Redder, as we work our way through this parade lap with the juniors 10 to 12. The way they indicate this class is the juniors GP 3.2. But for those of you guys hanging out with us, that really says it's the 10 to 12. We have a bunch of great nicknames for these guys: bottle rockets, micro missiles, but whatever you call them, they are some of the funnest riders to watch. And we're going to get the opportunity to see these guys come off the line in just a moment. And of course, the gentleman that is up in the lead on that is Anders Hubert Laurie, who had the fastest qualifying time yesterday. And you see Rashid Tayer on boat 55. He's holding the UAE flag, and they are going to retire the flags back to the dock and then get over on the lineup. Now, again, running start for all of the competitors, to include the junior riders. And for a lot of these riders, this is actually a rookie year for them. This is our opportunity in the junior class to introduce young athletes to a sport that is incredibly fun and a sport that actually spans generations. And you see that quite a bit represented even back in the paddocks this weekend. One example, of course, is the Johansson family. You've got Johan Johansson, the dad, that's racing in GP1 and Runabout. You'll see that this afternoon at 3 o'clock in our second live stream. And then, of course, his son also racing with him in that GP1 class. And that's Samuel Johansson. You saw his daughter racing earlier today in the women's ski, and that was Janina Johansson on boat number 88. So just one of the, I think, very cool things about this sport is that you have the opportunity for the whole family to get involved and to race. We're going to line these guys up over on the left-hand side, running start for them, and they will be going to top 5 will be going to that green buoy. By the way, the green buoy is actually taller than they are. Then 6 through 15 will be going to the yellow. And when we have a class over 16, 6 through 15 will be going to the yellow, and then over 16 will be going on to that red buoy on the start. Running start, they'll be entering the field from the right-hand side. First turn will be a big sweeping right-hand turn. They'll go to a double yellow and then a double red, and then they start working their way through that split section. That's how the start's going to look. And we've got all of the juniors set up with the flags taken care of, and we're going to bring them all over to the left-hand side as we get ready to go. Fantastic footage from the guys at Case Production. Of course, Robbie Anderson on the drone today. Say a special thanks to our sponsor, Neon Glasses, back again with us for the 2019 tour, and what a tour we have on the Aquabike World Championship rounds. We start here in Portimao, then we're going to go in a couple of weeks, first part of June, over to Olbia. Then from Olbia, we are going to go way away to China. Then we're going to be hitting Amaravati, India, and then we will be finishing up our tour this year in Sharjah. Got a big class rolling. Again, you're watching 10 to 12 as we get them lined up on this rolling start. Andrew Hubert Laurie with fastest time yesterday of a 2:01.80. Rashid Tayer second, gentleman from the UAE, and his fastest time was a 2:07.36. Manuel Lite, his fastest time was a 2:09.26 yesterday, and that's qualifying. They only did one qualifier. The rest of the field ended up with two qualifiers. They got to do one. So pole position's going to go to Ander, and they are setting up right now. As soon as they get, even with the course marshals, they are off. Ander and Rashid, good starts. Ander Hubert Laurie really riding quite well. These kids dropping super low down into the tray. That's the perfect position when you're riding in a stand-up boat, being able to switch feet back and forth and dropping down into the tray. But what is, I think, especially cute about them is because they are still learning and still growing as well, it is fun as heck because it literally looks like there's nobody on the boat when they set up for the turn. That's Ander Hubert Laurie, by the way, on boat number 11 that you were watching come through, and that's where the whole shot is going to be officially called. For Ander Hubert Laurie, and you can already hear his family and fans over on the right-hand side cheering him on. It is Rashid Tayer for second. Martin Brito in third. Ander Hubert Laurie, hole shot, and the fastest qualifying time yesterday. Rashid Tayer, who was right behind him, and actually at one point thought he was going to get that fastest time, both these riders. Breaking under the 2:10 mark. A little bit of background on Ander Hubert Laurie. Just got a second on the UIM European stop last weekend with 68 points, only 1 point away from first place. And he is a whopping 10 years fast. Lives in Estonia. He is, of course, a student. Enjoys ice hockey. And then this gentleman right behind him, boat 55, Rashid Tayer, is out of Dubai, UAE. He is 11 years fast, and he's aboard a Yamaha this weekend. He was actually the World Euro and Nordic Champ 2018. He actually debuted in 2018. That we were talking about Ander Hubert and his already very impressive list of titles. Okay, seriously? That is just a heart melter to see how cute these guys are. Rashid Tayer, the gentleman from the UAE, hanging out in Rashid Al Mullah's tent. That's going to be pretty fun. Rashid Al Mullah, your current world champion in freestyle. And Martin Brito in that third place spot. Martin out of Portugal. A home product sponsored by Team Milan Racing. He's riding a Kawasaki. UIM and race debut in 2017. He got a fourth at Penafiel last weekend. A second on the 2019 Junior GP3 class at the GP of Ures. Got a third last year in GP 3.2 on the European Tour. And a third as well in 2017. So again, Martin Brito from Portugal, who is up in third, also looking very solid. Let's take a look at the times. Andrew Hubert Laurie with a 3:10.09. And second, Rashid Tayer with a 3:19.70. And Martin Brito with a 3:30.80. Manuel Lite with a 3:33.19 in fourth. Marty Marquez in fifth with a 3:38.78 in boat number 53. Frederick Franson with a 3:44.28. And that is Manuel Lite on boat number 20 that you're seeing in the camera. And I was talking about that 1 point difference from Andrew Hubert Laurie. Well, it was this gentleman. He got a first last weekend at the European Penafiel stop. Second in 2018 on the GP 3.2 on the European Tour last year. I will say I got a pretty big kick out of Manuel Lite's Facebook page. According to his Facebook page, he's 29 years old. He's also the Portuguese national champion, and he is riding a Yamaha Super Jet. Back to Anders Hubert Laurie at the top of your screen on boat number 11. We're on to lap number 2, and his time for that was a 2:00.94. Five-minute into this 12-minute moto. And I love watching him set these turns up. This guy has a great future and ahead of him. Yesterday was clocking out at 59 miles an hour in that first qualifier. Manuel Leet on 20 is in that fourth place spot. Cute. Really fun to watch these guys. Boat number 53, that is Frederick Franson, currently in 6th. Did really great last week at a 5.35 in Penafiel for a 5th overall. He lives in Denmark. He is 11 years old. Plays soccer and enjoys jet skiing as well. That is boat 53. And as we move out a bit on the view, you can see that he is on the hunt for boat number 41. That's Marty Marquez. Got a third last weekend in Penafiel, 8 points away from second, 9 points away from first. Looks to swim and also a go-kart racer. And what's kind of cool about him, is an interesting side note, races go-karts. His nickname is the Mustang, and you can see that actually as a design on the side of his helmet. Perfect opportunities for you to see that merge section out of the splits. And it is Franson on the hunt to try to run down Marty Marquez. One of the really fun things about watching the junior racing is it's not just the juniors that get keyed up. The parents all line up on the wall, and I do believe sometimes the nerves are more coming from the parents than they are for the kids. Kids out there just having a great time, but parents doing a lot of pacing on the side of the walls here watching. Again, Anders Hubert Laurie, best time 2.0072. Rashid Taylor, a 2:06.66 in second. The double aces for Laurie, your Estonia rider. Interesting that when we get up into the women's class and the GP ski class for the men, you see a lot of Kawasaki's, but here still got quite a few Yamahas. Yamaha Super Jet, if you take a look at the history of jet ski racing, that Super Jet was incredibly dominant back in the 90s and all the way through up into the early 2000s before they came out with the Kawasaki 800. But prior to that, it was a stand-up that was filled with Yamaha Super Jets, and it would not be unusual to see that as an entire lineup in the early 90s. First jet ski ever invented actually was the Kawasaki 300. We're watching Rashid Taylor. You can see his country represented on the side of his boat, the UAE. Rashid also on that Yamaha. You can see that very signature looking hood. Just started racing this year, and he had a big field of riders that he was working with in Dubai, over 10 racers in that local series, and ended up with a third over there. So Rashid Taylor's had quite a bit of practice before he got on the Aquabike World Championship GP of Portugal Tour. 2.0072, your fastest time. Anders Hubert Laurie. Rashid Taylor, 29 seconds off the pace in second. There's the double red that they have to navigate. Now, doubles are we talked earlier with Kevon Redder about how technical this track is. One of the technical aspects to a series of turns is anytime you have to deal with doubles. Those double reds, because you have to maintain a high speed throughout it, you're not allowed to just chop the engine. You've got to carry that momentum throughout the speed. They look like they're simple, but they are deceptively tricky to handle, these double turns. We're on lap number 5 with Anders Hubert Laurie with a 2.0072. And 11:40 on the clock for our total time. Boat number 8, Martin Brito. Fastest time for Martin at 2:10.05. Fourth place, Manuel Linte, only 8.03 seconds off of a podium opportunity. He has been putting a little pressure on boat number 8, Martin Brito. Two more laps to go. So Anders Hubert Laurie actually beating his qualifying time yesterday, despite the fact the water is a little bit rougher this morning than it was yesterday afternoon. I see we have quite a bit of old friends joining us on the live feed. Special shout out to Rock Floriancic, who has joined us on the live feed, Aksa Aswar, Alec Enderley, and Benjamin Francois. Great to have you guys. White flag is out for Anders Hubert Laurie. Shout out to Dustin Matzuras. We are currently 13:45 into this 12-minute moto. There's 12 minutes plus 1 lap is the way this is going to work. Our total time on the clock is at 13:54 for our 10 to 12-year-olds. And you are watching our race leader, Andrew Hubert-Lorry. Traley Harrison Cunningham says, you know what, we need some young ladies next year to join this group of youngsters. Well, Traley, I have good news for you. We've got some women coming up next in our junior class, so this could be 13 to 15 coming at us. Still working the white flag. No change in the top 4, but Frederick Franson, who had been putting some pressure on Marty Marquez, snuck around. He's in 5th place. Meanwhile, that is your shot of the leader working the split section on the green buoys. This is his final lap. And you see he's already starting to work with switching legs. I'm guessing that Anders has ridden in surf before, because that stance that he's on is typically for pretty rough water or for surf, where they have both of their feet together and towards the back of the boat to help with that hookup. Drops into the front stretch, takes a quick look over at the flag. Sure enough, checkers come up. Congratulations to Anders Hubert-Lorry with his win in that first moto. He's looking all calm, cool, and collected. Rashid Taylor on boat number 55. It's crazy how much quieter it is between the men's GP class and the juniors. Running limited boats. And as Rashid Taylor drops to that front stretch, his fastest time with 2:06.66. This lap time was a 2:08.66, just a little off the pace, not much after all those laps. Congratulations to boat number 55, Rashid Taylor, taking second in Moto 1. And congratulations to boat number 8, that is Martin Brito, for your podium. That's your final spot for the podium on Moto 1, but it was right behind him. Manuel Lite on boat number 20 for 4th. Frederick Branson, boat number 53 for 5th. Marty Marquez right there in the mix as well. And that is going to be our wrap for the junior 10 to 12. 3.2. And congratulations to all the riders and also all the parents and family that survived the nerves of that one. That was so much fun to watch. Anders Hubert-Lorry taking the win. Hopefully we can get Anders down here for a quick interview. And coming right out of the naval area is going to be our 13 to 15, but we will be right back to give you all the action on that parade. Welcome back. You are watching the Aquabike World Championship Grand Prix of Portugal. This is our Parade of Nations for the 13 to 15 class, or as the UIM likes to call it, GP 3.3. Countries that are going to be represented on this parade is Portugal, Norway, Spain, Estonia, And we will be bringing you the entry list so that you can see the riders that will be competing in Moto number 1 today. This is going to be our final class for this morning, and then we'll be coming right back at 3 p.m. for more great action to include Runabout GP. On the line, we've got Theodore Lisbeth, who had the fastest qualifying time yesterday. Matthias Radis in second. Severi Salonen in third. Benedicta Drange in fourth. And Diego Barbosa is going to be your first field on the top 5. They'll be going to the greens. Matteo Valente is on the pole position on that second grid. And he is joined by another young lady, Luisa Beja, Luna Garcia, João Inverneiro, and Diogo Faria. Interesting, Matthias Reines in that first free practice yesterday had the fastest time. Theodore Lizeth was in second, and it flip-flopped in practice number 2, but it was the pole position that really counted yesterday in that first qualifier. And Theodore Lizeth with a 1:54.27, good enough to put him on that pole position. Matthias Reines, his best lap was really close. 1.60 is all that separated those two. Matthias Reines with a 1:55.87. So Norway and Estonia, those top 2 positions. Just watching this parade lap also gives you a great opportunity to see just the depth of technicality on this track today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on that live feed. We have quite a few people that popped in to say hi, to include a lot of people that we've had competing with us in the past. Thank you so much for being here. I see Oliver Lizeth is on. Ep E. Prouse is on. Thank you so much. Yes, Yasmin was flying today. She went down, but just so briefly. It was really a great race for her. I want to say a shout out to Ken Sims and Yuki Kuriyashi as well. I see Laura Urick joined early on. She got the opportunity to watch Kevon Redder. Ken Sims has worked with Yosef Abdul Razak for many years in the mid-90s and early 2000s, and he was given a shout out for Yosef Abdul Razak. I will be sure to tell him that you said hi, Ken. It's great to have you. Shout out to Philip Salabir for joining us today. Isa Takaprami as well. And she is rooting on Severi. You're watching the final part of the parade of laps as these guys honoring our countries. This is going to be a big class. So you're watching 13 to 15. There are 11 riders in this. To include 3 girls. Theodore Lezeth, Matthias Reines, Severi Salonen, Benedicti Drange, Diego Barbosa are your top 5. Matteo Valente is going to have that pole position in the second grid. Right next to him, Diaz, Lopez, Esteban, Harley Ritchie, Luisa Beja, Luna Garcia, João Inverneiro, and Diego Faria in that second grid. We are going to bring him back over to the left-hand side of the track. I've had a couple of questions about it. Yes, they are doing the exact same track that the GP ski men are doing, and it is a monster, average of 2 minutes to 2 minutes 10 seconds on this individual lap. So a big course for these guys. Great training opportunity, I think, for them. And as you can see, but have no problem with it either. So 12-minute moto is what we're going to be looking at. This is moto number 1, 13 to 15. And we'll be taking a short break after this. We're going to go into free practice for freestyle and runabout GP1. But what you are going to want to know is that we're going to be back live at 3 p.m. this afternoon for both runabout GP1 and also for freestyle. So stay tuned. I'll be sure and post that. But go right over to aquabike.net and they will keep you up to date on when we are going to go back live on the feed. I want to say a special thank you to Case Productions and all the crew for all of the great action and all the photography. All right, we're getting them squared away. Now, if you're wondering where are they in relevance to where the track is, where you're seeing the riders right now is on the far left side of the track, closest to that bridge. It's very long, very, very long track. 1.7 kilometers. $27 pins for the ski division. So the way they do these running starts is you'll notice that they've got the course marshals on either side of the riders, and they have to stay within that parallel line, and once they get them evened out and in that parallel line, they're going to raise those flags and release them. Then that's when the start's going to happen. And the course marshal's not liking that setup, so if they can't get them lined up quick enough, what they will do is they will reroute them. So they're going to bring them back. And they did a standing start in Penafiel, and for some of these riders, this might be their first running start, so it's a cool learning opportunity for them to get a chance to play just like the men's GP1. All right, they've got them back in a lineup. Looks like one of the riders hanging back a little bit, like something's up with the boat that they have released him, and the riders are off. Here's your start for the GP 3.3 class. Matthias Reynes. And Theodore Lazeth going to the blue splits. Now, if you're looking that direction, it would be the inside on the blues. And Diago Barbosa on the green buoys. And they meet almost side by side. Diago Barbosa inched ahead and has the line. It will be Diago Barbosa with the whole shot, but undone on boat number 3, Lazeth making a challenge from the outside. And that was close within 2 boats for the whole shot. It's going to be Diago Barbosa with it. Theodore Lazeth second. Matteo Valente third. Benedicte Drange in 4th, and Matthias Reynes in 5th. Meanwhile, great start for Diago Barbosa, who, by the way, finished in 5th place yesterday with the 5th fastest time. Just smoked the whole shot. Theodore Lazeth, who has some famous family that races with him, and that would be Oliver Lazeth. They typically have 3 numbers, 333 or 332, but the UIM allows you 2 numbers for competition, so they truncated that. But Matthias Reynes normally runs 328, so he got 32, so Theodore Lazeth ended up with a 3. And the reason I bring up the race numbers, a lot of time these numbers have special significance for the riders. So the young man that has been working with Kev Racing for the last 2 years, Diego Barbosa with the hole shot. A home product right here in Portugal, rides for Kev Racing. He's from Viana de Castellón. His date of birth, a whopping 2004, and a rider down, and that was Diogo. That minor bobble held on. He's still within 10 votes of second place. Theodore Lazath, 3.0098. It was a 30350 for Theodore. Matteo Valente up in third. And it was Benedicte that went down briefly. Mateo Arenas in fifth. Benedicte Drange in fourth. Matteo Valente third. Lizeth second. Barbosa currently leading. Great drone shot of the entire track, and you can see just how massive this thing is. The challenge for the riders is there's no depth to it, so they can never get away from these waves. They are constantly mirroring back and forth between the two banks. We've got a wall on this side where the media center is and where the paddocks are. So those waves just keep moving right back into the middle of the track. The most technical section and trickiest section as far as those waves is going to be coming out of the splits that you are watching. That is Theodore Lazath on the blue split buoys, and then they will hit a merge buoy. And you can see how close Theodore is coming out of that, and he has currently got it, but the line still is Diego Barbosa. Theodore Lazath closes the door right at the final part of the turn and moves into the lead. That was a pro move for boat number 3. Wow, I just got goosebumps on that one. He's out of Bergen, Norway. Rides for Team Lisbeth Racing, and I've got to be guessing that Oliver Lisbeth just went nuts on the live feed. By the way, Theodore on a Yamaha Super Jet and working lap traffic. I wouldn't give up on Diego Barbosa's chances. He hasn't backed off much. See the difference here in times. Lazath with a 1:54.92. That was his fastest lap. Barbosa on that second with a 2.0044 is his fastest lap time. Matteo Valente with a 2:03.33 in third, and a Benedicte Drange with a 2:02.42 in fourth. Diaz, Lopez, Esteban with a 2:02.29 actually had a bit of a faster time on this lap. He is in fifth. And you are watching in that upper screen, Theodore Lazath. And a tough break for boat 12. And that is Joao Invierno. You can see just how powerful a rider he is, working that split section in the green. Love the overhead coverage for this rider out of Bergen, Norway. That is Theodore Lazath, your new leader. So Theodore just comes through. Let's see what the gap is between these two. 6.97 seconds between first and second place. Theodore Lazath and Diego Barbosa. Theodore starting to definitely get into his groove here on that Yamaha Super Jet. You're watching boat number 45. That is Matteo Valente. Matteo Valente with wow, incredible resume when you take a look at his wins. He's got 5 podiums overall. Three-time seconds. He's had a second of the UIM European Championship 2016, 2017, and 2018. He's been vice champion. He's twice been third on that UIM European Championship Tour, that also 2015 through 2016. All of 14 years fast. Talking about Matteo Valente on boat number 45. His UIM debut, by the way, was in 2015. And he is aboard a Kawasaki. His first race, by the way, his first year, won a national championship. That gives you just an idea of the caliber of these junior riders. And looking like we got one of the Yamaha Super Jets out there having a bit of a tough time. It is boat number 27, Diego Fraria. Just got a little tangled up with the buoy there, had to go out and pick up the black buoy. Now here is why the black buoy is out there, and right in front of the start line. It's a penalty buoy if you miss a lap, or excuse me, miss a buoy. So it gives you an opportunity to pick up that penalty buoy versus circling around on the buoy trying to pick it up, which caused safety concerns years ago. So the UIM, and smart move, has put out that penalty buoy so they can pick that up instead of having to try to circle back. Boat number 18, that is Diaz Lopez Esteban, and he is in 6th place. "14 years old, out of Malaga, Spain. He also is aboard a Kawasaki, but he's on the 800. Again, they have these guys on 2 strokes. His first race ever was in 2015. Won the King's Cup in Spain in 2017, and he was a European UIM champ in 2017. His debut was in 2016. No change in your leadership, Theodore Lizeth. As we work our way through the time, we're 10 minutes and 15 seconds into this 12-minute moto. Shout out, by the way, to, man, we had a lot of people joining us on the live stream. Shout out to Helena Borgstrom, Jerry Wong, Adnan Yassini, as well as Hassan Almanani, Dave Zier, and Bianca Musson, all the way from New Zealand. Great to have all of you guys join us on the live stream. Camera back on your race leader as he comes to the front stretch. And just under the time, he's going to have 2 more laps at least here. He's at 10:58. They will go to 12 minutes, and then after 12 minutes, it'll be 1 more lap. So 12-minute moto, 1 more lap. So he's going to have 2 laps, this one and 1 more. Current time on the board, 11 minutes and 15 seconds. Fastest lap time for Lizeth, a 1:54.92. Diego Barbosa with a 1:59.22, and you're getting the opportunity to watch one of the fast ladies out on the track. Her brother, Matt Hansen, Matt Drame, has also been racing and has been helping Benedicte get faster and faster. Matteo Valente on 45. Sneaking around these buoys, trying to make up some time. His fastest time, a 2:01.97. About 25 seconds off the leader's time. And you can see Mateus Reynes, and it looks like Mateus Reynes on a backup boat. That wasn't the boat we saw him on yesterday. Meanwhile, Benedicte holding off the second fastest qualifier from yesterday, Mateus Reynes. Look how fast she came into that turn. Wow. I got a chance to catch up with her 2 days ago, and oh my gosh, she was fun to interview. I asked her if she was faster than her brother, and she was like, I think I'm getting faster, yes. All right, white flag is up for Theodore Lazath. Quite a bit of crowd here chumped to this front stretch. Lazath and Barbosa have already come through. They're hitting this white flag. We're 13:24 into it. And you were watching Benedicte holding off the pack. Matteo Valente about 10 boats behind her. Up in 5th. And she is running some pretty strong lines. Lap traffic starting to have an impact. Who would have thought you'd be watching 13 to 15-year-olds and they're fast enough that they're getting in lap traffic, especially on a track this huge. Very respectable lap times for them as well. Again, that fastest time on the track today was the 1:54.92. Emma Harris has tuned into the live feed. Great to have you, a young lady that races out of Australia. Was racing against the guys in the Spark class, and you could tell the girls all get fired up when they get an opportunity to watch the ladies racing in these combined classes with the guys. And we are ready to throw a checkered flag for Theodore Lazath. Congratulations to the gentleman out of Bergen, Norway. Diogo Barbosa nails it for second. And it is going to be boat number 45 for 4th place. That is Matteo Valente. And Benedicte holds on. Matteo Valente is going to be in that 5th place spot. But Benedicte is going to hit 4th. Matteo Valente in 5th. That's taking care of your top 5. Congratulations to all of our riders of the junior class. That's the 13 through 15. I want to thank you so much for listening to the live stream as we finish up with these riders coming through. Salute to all of them. Diaz, Lopez, Esteban for 6th. Severi, Salonon for 7th. Harley Ritchie in 8th. Luisa Beja for 9th. And Luna Garcia for 10th. Shout out also to Joel and Diago Faria. All right, we will see you right back here on the live stream at 3 p.m. this afternoon. On behalf of myself, Don Dawson, and the rest of the crew for the Aquabike Tour, we will see you at 3 p.m. Thanks for watching the World Championship Tour and the Grand Prix of Portugal. You've been watching the UIM-ABP. We'll be back.